Welcome to Brave Together podcast, an empowering resource for the parents of children with disabilities, neurodivergence, and all unique needs.
Like every time you say, like the panini generation, you think about like the actual grips of the sandwich presser, like it's real. It's like, how do we even breathe?
Hello, Brave friends. Welcome to Ask Us Anything. I'm Jessica Patay, your host of Brave Together podcast, and I'm joined by two fantastic fellow Brave Mom co-hosts to help answer your questions.
Hi, I'm Susanna Peace Lovell. I'm an author, a certified life coach and soul care coach, and an advocate for the health and wellness of disability families everywhere.
Hi, I'm Dr. Zoe, a licensed psychotherapist, writer, speaker, author, and complex shame expert.
We are gathered here to share our experiences,
share our wisdom,
and answer your questions.
Have a caregiving question? Find the link in the show notes to leave us your message.
May you feel seen and heard and not alone.
Ask us anything.
Hi, Brave Together podcast. I really want to know, how do I survive when I feel like I literally have no time for myself? I'm never alone, I don't have sitters or respite workers, and honestly, with the holidays upon us, that just means even more work. And I just feel crushed. Any advice?
You guys, I cannot believe this is our last episode of season 9. I feel like 6 months ago was the start of season 9.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I feel like so much, I don't know, has happened, or it's just been
time goes faster. Just goes faster every day. That's what happens.
And I just maybe this beautiful momentum over the months has, led us to this point. But I'm shocked also that we are literally recording our last episode of season 9. Where did the time go?
I don't.
I don't know. I don't know most things, most days, but anyhow.
And since we last met up, ladies, Zoe has been on her book tour.
Yes.
Zoe.
Bravo. We are so proud of you. Stronger in the difficult places. Heal your relationship with yourself by untangling complex shame. So many gems.
Yes. Oh, thank you. It has been a whirlwind, but so exciting and really just wonderful to hear back from people who are just being touched by the book. So that's why we do these things, right? That's why we have our podcast. That's why we write what we write, to help other people.
Absolutely. How has it been? I know it's so much work to promote a book, but what has been your favorite part, Zoe?
So the interviews just get to be kind of over and over and over, and I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but they've been great, and I've met some really wonderful people in the interview process. But really, it's the DMs and the messages and the emails from people who have read my book. That is the gift. That is the best part of this whole process. And women, and actually it's men, because I wrote my book mainly for women. My brand is mainly a brand for women, but the men that I have had reach out to me, and now I've been interviewing on some, men podcasts talking about shame, saying, me too. And I read this book and I was on the plane and I was in tears. And this applies to men too, which of course shame applies to men. But just that so many men are resonating with my story, even though it's so women centric, to me is just a gift. So yeah, I think that's probably my favorite.
Congrats. All right. Well, we will dedicate an episode in season 10 to you.
Season 10. Wow.
Pull a story out from your book, and we'll do a little story episode.
Yeah.
Or whatever you desire.
I'm excited for that. Can't wait. Can't believe we're into season 10 already. My goodness. 2 hands.
I cannot believe we're going to be
2 hands.
season 10.
Double digits.
Yes, double
That's right.
digits. Yeah.
Yeah. And this season was just a season full of books. We had so many authors on the
Mhm.
show. Amanda Griffith Atkins, Chris Burbank. We had Carrie Burke. We had Heather Avis. I
Yeah.
mean, so many people with books or
Right.
children's books
We talked
this
about Mel
season.
Robbins' books,
Yes,
the new one that
that's
came
right.
out. Yeah, Let Them.
That's
That was
right.
fun.
That's
Mhm.
right. And speaking of books, for all you Bravies out there, we do have a list of recommended books for parents.
Mhm.
And it's on our website under resources. It's something that we also print out and put in our Brave bags at our retreats. So if you're ever curious about what We Are Brave Together recommends, these are recommendations that came from the community.
Beautiful.
So should we share our big news now or wait till after we talk
No, come
about...
on. Don't keep our
Should we put
listeners.
them in suspense? Make them wait till the end of
No.
the episode?
No, this is so fantastic. We
Yeah, it
have to
really
share
is.
it now.
We have to share it.
Okay.
Let's just go, Jessica. Share.
Okay. So guess what, everyone? This podcast is getting picked up by UK Health Radio. We have now a partnership with UK Health Radio for Brave Together podcast. And that means that our little podcast will be streamed out, will flow out to 1.6 million listeners. And so this is just wonderful news that we can just spread stories and resources and inspiration and so much validation and love and community and care to more and more parents. And we are so thrilled. This is great for We Are Brave Together, the nonprofit that supports this podcast, and great opportunity for growth. Let's start a London connection circle.
Yes,
If anyone's
please.
listening.
Yes,
Absolutely. I'll be the retreat coordinator for our first London retreat. Yes, please.
Zoe and I can be joint speakers for that one.
Yes,
absolutely.
We definitely volunteer for that.
I am so, I feel so honored. I feel so seen. I feel so, this is such a privilege for us. And I just think of all of those moms who would never have, heard about our podcast before. Maybe, who knows? But, it's just reaching all of the different corners and crevices of the world, where there is that one mom or two moms that ultimately lead to 10,000 new moms, whatever, that are just like, oh my goodness, this existed. This exists, and this is so helpful and supportive. And I just, again, over here in my own little world, feeling so isolated. I just get the chills thinking about that, because that is always our mission and quest, to make as many moms as possible to feel less alone.
And we sometimes forget, I forget because I listen to so many podcasts, that there are plenty of people who don't listen to podcasts, still don't consume, but they listen to radio because it's easy to just turn the radio on in their house. And so now we have a whole new audience of people that have the potential to be able to hear us. And I think that that's, going global, because our topic, parenting and caregiving, is not just a US based issue. And so the fact that we can now truly go global, I know we already are on the podcast, but through another medium is just such a gift.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I'm so thrilled. So for you Bravies, what that means is that season 10 will begin January 6th on a Tuesday. We will be moving from Wednesdays to Tuesdays for our published day, our release day. So we can all make the jump from Wednesday to Tuesday. That means you get us a little bit faster.
Right. A day earlier.
Yep. A day earlier. Friends, we have a great question today. And I think so many people can relate. I call, us Panini caregivers when we feel smashed and crushed from every angle, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is that's contributing to that, where you just feel like, I can barely breathe. I can barely move. I have no time. I have no time to myself. We all know what that feeling is like.
Yeah. We've all been there, whether it was when they were toddlers or adolescents. We have been there.
For sure. And then, there's some of us who are caring for parents too. And it's a lot on top of already caregiving. So, and some of our bravies have multiple children with
Exactly.
neurodivergence, medical complexities, rare genetic diseases,
Mhm.
there's so many different reasons and factors that contribute to feeling crushed, under the weight of it all. And I know that this mom is seeking advice, and we'll get there, but as we always do, we just want to say we see you, and it's understandable that you are feeling frustrated and exhausted and overwhelmed or overstimulated or just crushed under the weight of caregiving and everything else that's on your plate.
Right, because we also have to talk about the seasons of life, like logistically, like the holiday season or kids being out of school. And then you have, what I like to call the 2 months of the year where for some reason all the kids get sick. You know what I mean? Like once in
Yes.
October, November, and then once again like March, April. I don't know what it is, but I can almost like clockwork just be like, okay, so my daughter's going to be home for a week, right? So all of those things. And then, of course, as we are growing older, we are now connected to others who are older. And typically with age comes, different health things to focus on. Like every time you say, like the panini generation, you think about like the actual grips of the sandwich presser, like it's real. It's like, how do we even breathe?
Mm.
Right. And so, as we think about this mom and her question, what advice can we give her for, okay, so you're here in this place that we all understand, that we've all been and we're all in some way, shape, or form. We are all still caregivers. The first thing that comes to my mind is that when you are in a place of complete overwhelm, that you have to kind of think of yourself like, I don't know if you guys have driven in electric cars when the battery's almost dead. Well, when you're driving in an electric car and you can't stop at a gas station and your battery's almost dead, it goes into there's a mode. I don't remember what the mode is called, but it's basically survival mode, right? It goes into this mode where it shuts down everything necessary in the car except whatever it needs to get you to that destination. And so the radio's off, the air's off, whatever extra things, lights, it just shuts everything down with the sole purpose of clearly you don't have enough energy or battery to get there, right? If we don't do this. And so I imagine myself doing that when I get really overwhelmed. It's like, okay, it's time to shut down everything in the system that doesn't have to be here for us, for our survival, right? And so especially when we're looking at the holidays, that means notifying your family, you know what, this year I'm not buying gifts. Maybe obviously for your kids you will, but maybe no more gifts for extended family. Do we really need to put those family pictures together, right? Think about the things that we think we ought to do and we feel all this pressure to do. Do we even have to cook at home this year? All the things that we think we have to do and we feel pressure and family asks us to do are not necessary for your survival. And so if you can think of how can I just shut down everything and just focus on the thing, and maybe it's just, you know, ordering in or going to a restaurant, or maybe it's just hanging out with your kids at home just by yourselves, snuggling up, with some hot chocolate. Who knows what it is? But that's the mode that I would like somebody to start thinking about when they start to
Mm.
feel overwhelmed.
I like that. I like that. And when I think about sort of being in survivor mode, what are the most basic things
Right.
to take care of ourselves? Food, clothing, shelter, I just think, okay, nourishment. Am I getting proper
Mhm.
nourishment? Am
Mhm.
I drinking enough water, or am I running on caffeine?
Mm. Right.
Um, what it is, I know this is, everyone's going to roll their eyes, like, is a little bit of rest possible? Like just 5 minutes of breathing. That's it.
Mhm,
If that's
mhm,
all you can do, you can't
mhm.
take naps, you can't go to bed early, you can't sleep in. Like, I know
Right.
that that's not possible for a lot of us.
Mhm.
Okay, just maybe sit still and breathe for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Even if your monkey mind is crazy, if the chatter's going on, but still, just sit and breathe for 5 minutes.
I feel like I want to do that right now. Can we start the timer?
I know.
Well, I also have to tell myself too often, and I can't stand dirty dishes in the sink. I cannot stand a pile of laundry that hasn't gone into. I just can't stand it. It drives me crazy. No one's coming over, by the way, right? It's just
Right.
that I know it's there.
Yeah.
And so I have had to talk to myself, like shift my mindset so many times of like, okay, what will be more supportive to you in this moment, in this next 20 minutes until your next thing, or until you need to go take your daughter to therapy, right? Is it going to be doing that load of laundry, or is it just going to be, again, like you said, like maybe not even 5 minutes, but maybe just 5 intentional breaths,
Mhm.
whatever it can be? I mean, it's so hard in our worlds where things can be so, unexpected. Things happen so unexpectedly all the time.
True.
At least in this household, like if there's a scream or a meltdown or, something. So I love your analogy so much, Dr. Zoe, because I think about not just our tank running on empty, because that's easy for us to
Mhm.
visualize, but I think
Right.
about, okay, but if you just have like this much left and you have to get to that destination, you have to, there's no choice.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just going to be really stranded, right? Then let's block the noise. Let's turn down all. I love this analogy.
I do too.
And we can even get even more, extreme if you've got to cut things down. Like, do your kids really need to have a bath tonight or tomorrow? Will they
Yeah.
be okay if you don't bathe them, right? I mean, obviously, if they're going to school, but sometimes we think that certain things have to be done and they're good and we should do them on a regular basis. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can give yourself a break. Just crawl into bed with your kid. Maybe you don't even have to do the whole bedtime routine if you don't have that in your tank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, and what I tell a lot of moms all the time is, what's most important is just to focus on relationship than all the things. Because as moms, we have the entire freaking list of all the things we need to do to take care of our kids, right? And
Right.
only a small part of that is actually focusing on our relationship with our child. It's all the other things that have
Mm.
to be done to take care of the kid. And so when you're in that place of overwhelm, I say flip it. Like, let go of all those other things and
Mhm.
just
Mm.
focus on relationship with the kid, with your child.
Oh, Zoe, that's so
So good.
good. It's so
Yeah.
good. Where were you 25 years ago saying
Oh
that
my
to
gosh.
me? As somebody who was like, it has to be done and do this and da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, da, and
Yeah.
just, I was so, I mean, still struggle with the doing, like,
Mhm.
even your example, Susanna, about dishes and laundry and, like, just let it go and
It
sit
doesn't,
down with Ryan.
right. No one's
Yeah.
coming. I love the connection piece. I have an embarrassing story. It's not that embarrassing. It's not that embarrassing.
We all
Nothing's
have embarrassing
embarrassing.
stories.
But the other, like, so, my daughter Arizona can sometimes just be so funky, like just smelling, like just the
Mhm.
body odor is pungent. Okay.
Yes.
And she has no
Fair.
consideration for it. Doesn't bother her at all. And I was like, this child has to get in to the shower, but it was a whole thing and she was resisting, and she normally loves to take a shower, but she was tired from soccer practice, all of these things. And so I was like, okay, well, at least change your shirt and put deodorant on. You know what I mean? Like, just at least do that. I don't care if
Mhm.
you shower, I mean, just a little thing like that. And then, another time she wanted me to like shave her legs and because she wanted to wear a particular outfit. And I was like, please just wear high boots. I can't deal. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
with very long stockings or whatever.
I
Yeah.
know. I mean, we have to find ways that we can conserve our energy. We have to. We talked about letting go of certain things, but I think it's also, what are we consuming? What are we consuming that takes us down rabbit holes and, takes us
Right.
down the, comparison pathway, and that just leads to no joy whatsoever. Who are we talking to? Are we talking to people who are life giving or life sucking? Like
Yes.
really, really just kind of take an inventory of, what you're doing with your phone and maybe who you're talking to, and really, choose wisely, because all of it pulls out of our tank.
That's right.
So we need people who can deposit into our tank or consume things that, light us up or make us smile or,
Mm-hmm.
help us feel grounded. There's so many good accounts out there to follow. So I would say that's another way to conserve your energy.
That's huge, Jessica, because we don't think about the toll that it takes when we look at somebody on the internet, on our phone or our tablet, and compare ourselves, and we feel this sense of less than, of something's wrong with me. Why can't I have it together? And we know logically it's probably not real. There's probably, we don't know what's, behind her, in the next room, but it doesn't matter because our brain still looks at that picture and the picture
Yes.
tells us that's real. And
Right.
so that's such great advice. And this is a place where moms can come, and there's no comparison here because we are happy to share all of our imperfection, and we are happy to join with you knowing that nobody is perfect. We are flubbing it up on the daily, even though the three of us have a combined how many decades of parenting and
Oh,
caregiving? Yeah, and we're still
Between all of us,
flubbing it
yeah.
up. Yeah, yeah, we are. And the point isn't to get it right. The point is to help us all walk through it in
Mm-hmm.
community, right? That's the point.
what do we say to the mama who literally does not have any support? Like maybe they just, maybe their child has complex health issues and other people can't even come into the home, or they can't even sort of just know that, like, in 7 days I know that my child will be with grandma, or whatever it is. Like, what do we say to the mom who can't even see like a little glimpse of sunshine?
Well, I would definitely say you are not the only one who has felt that way, not to minimize it, but just to, like, when we think we're the only one that has it this bad or this rough or this extreme, that can do its own harm, I think, in our minds. So I'm not saying it to minimize. I'm just saying, like, we can really take ourselves down when we're like, I am the only one. Nobody else ever goes through this, right? So we don't want to tell ourselves that. If you do not have any support at all, then I would encourage you to get brave and reach out to a fellow mom,
Yeah.
another parent caregiver, and ask to swap favors.
Yeah.
Or ask some of your friends that you've never asked for help, like, could you go to the pharmacy for me? Could you do this errand for me? Maybe you can't take care of my medically fragile or psychologically fragile or behaviorally fragile child, teen, or adult, but could you take a task off my plate for me, please?
Yeah.
Be
Right.
brave. Ask for
Right.
help. We
Right.
have to ask for help. We have
Right.
to.
Right.
We have to
Yes.
ask for help, and we have to ask for resources too. And so, if there's that mom that is a caregiving mom, ask her, what are all your resources? How do you get help? Who are you talking to? What, places are you connected with, to see if you can, find some additional resources out there. And I know that there's so much judgment out there. And that is part of the reason why people, especially women, moms, don't ask for help, right? Because of the judgment. And I feel like, yes, the judgment can sometimes come from inside our community, but the judgment comes often from people who have no idea what it's like to live the life that we live, to live the life that you live. And so we have to also learn to shield ourselves emotionally from that judgment,
Mm-hmm.
meaning you've got to understand literally whatever you need to say to yourself. If you want to call them stupid, that's fine. But you can also just understand that there's so much ignorance there that is judging you for not being able to keep it up or show up at the thing or whatever it is. And because they are ignorant, you can now ignore them, right? And you still need to be brave and ask for help, even if you fear being judged, because their judgment is ignorance. Nobody knows the shoes that you are walking in, although there's not, there's nothing new under the sun. We've all been there in one way, shape, or form. But people who are not caregivers have zero idea. They imagine what they would do. They imagine what they could do. And so if you can just really focus on your own self-talk and your ability to kind of hedge yourself from that fear of judgment, it can help too.
Is there anything else that stands out to you that might be helpful?
I mean, aside from the actual help that is out there, reminding a mom that pretty much no matter where she lives, at least in this country, there are organizations out there that can help you. And sometimes it might be your church, reaching out to your church or your synagogue or some kind of, faith or religion, organization, or reaching back out to your school, your kid's school, or the regional center, or places to let them know, hey, I am not getting enough support. I need something more. How can you help me? Because there are organizations out there that can be helpful, but unfortunately, sometimes we have to be the squeaky wheel because they don't necessarily just come to us. We
Yeah.
have to ask and
Yes.
ask and search.
I also want to say that it's not your fault that you're
Right.
feeling this overwhelm. It's not your fault if you're in burnout. It's not your fault if you're experiencing compassion fatigue. We don't have enough systems and supports and services in every city, in every state, in every country that's really needed for our families. There's some, but there's not enough. Burnout is likely for all of us at some point.
I've been there. Yeah.
Again, it's the cyclical, thing for us. It's constant. And I also would offer that to that mom who's feeling so guilty for feeling like they're always complaining, or they're just so anxious and they're so depressed and they can't access any tiny little nugget of joy, and they're feeling like, oh my gosh, this means that I am not happy with my child or my children, or I'm not grateful. And I have these conversations with myself where I'm like, okay, but I'm not trying to complain about my kiddo. I'm just exhausted and I'm grateful for her and I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And if she could just stop making noise, that would be fantastic, right?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes it's just being able to unload. I remember when my daughter was in her deepest psychotic break and she was physically aggressive. I had, just gone through the divorce and I was alone trying to take care of, my children, and Sully was just out of control. I remember calling my mom and saying, I can't do this. I cannot do this anymore. And, I talked to her for like an hour. By the time I got off the phone with her, nothing had changed in my life, right? But I did feel better. I did feel a little more enabled. I did feel a little more empowered. It gave me a little bit of break. And just to be able to tell somebody I can't do this anymore and to have them hold space for me,
Right.
that's what I needed in that moment. It gave me just enough to kind of go back and figure out the next thing.
And for you babies out there, if you're thinking, well, I don't really have that person that I feel safe enough or comfortable enough to be that raw, that vulnerable with, we have a secret Facebook group for this community. It's an extension of We Are Brave Together. And it's a place, it's a safe, sacred space that you can vent. And we're all going to pounce on you with love and care and support. And I see you. So please know that. Please know that at the very least, you can be a part of that. And if you're not in the secret Facebook group and you would like to be, please send us a message at hello@wearebravetogether.com. withyourbravetogether.org. It is for moms only, this secret Facebook group. So just let us know if you would like to be a part of that. So we're wrapping up season 9. We want to say happy holidays. We want to say you get to choose whatever you do or don't do. And we're with you. And we love you. We care about you. We will see you on a Tuesday in the new season with our new partnership with UK Health Radio.
Yay.
Happy holidays.
Thank you for riding with us through this season.
We love you. Thanks so much for listening today. Do us a favor and leave us a review and a rating so that this podcast can get into the ears and the hearts of more and more moms. Did you know that Brave Together podcast is an extension of our nonprofit organization, We Are Brave Together? We Are Brave Together serves an international community of caregiving moms, offering support groups that are virtual and in-person, educational resources, and low-cost weekend retreats. And we have published our first anthology of caregiving stories entitled Becoming Brave Together, Heroic, Extraordinary Caregiving Stories from Mothers Hidden in Plain Sight. It will encourage and validate every parent caregiver. To join us today, go to wearebravetogether.org. Our support and sisterhood awaits you. Brave Together podcast is for entertainment and education purposes only. It's not a substitute for professional care and should not be relied on for medical or mental health advice. The use of any content on our podcast, links, show notes, or on our website is to be done at your own personal risk. Please seek out a professional to assess your own medical or mental health concerns because we are all beautifully complex and the content of this podcast is for a broad audience.